I think we are ready to begin. And as I have said, there'll be people joining. There are a lot of registrations, but different time zones, different locations. We are very open to have this forum as a space of presence where people are flowing in, joining for the moment that they feel will be most resonant for them, and then stepping out whenever they feel is appropriate. But I would like to welcome everyone who is here today. Thank you for being with us. This forum is an experiment, and if it is a successful experiment, we want to run it every year and expand it and evolve it and hold it as one of the places where conversation about the future of humanity, directions of human evolution can occur. So my name is Pavel Luksha. I am one of the founders of this forum. I am also a co-founder of Global Education Futures, an organization that initiated this work. And in preparation of the forum, we collaborated with many organizations. Our key partner was Learning Planet Institute, based in Paris. And we have Francois Tadei with us, who is the founder of the institute. And there are many other institutions that supported us, like Laszlo Institute of New Paradigm Research, Youth by Youth Movement, Eco-Civilization Movement, Living Cities Earth, another movement that is rapidly growing, Arare, an institution based in Latin America working with regenerative agriculture and regenerative projects. Earthwise, we will have Anne-Louise Smitsman with us, who is the founder of Earthwise, and World Academy of Art and Science and Human Security for All are two initiatives that we are conducting this forum in support of. We have agreed with them that because of very cumbersome approval process, they are not officially co-organizers, but they are completely co-organizers with us in their heart and mind, so to say. There are organizational and bureaucratic challenges. Why we are doing this? What is the purpose of this conversation? So for me, I should probably tell a very brief personal story. I was born and raised in Soviet Union, the country that was, to some it was an empire of evil, to some it was like the beacon of progress in the 20th century. It's a very contradictory space in many regards. But one of the things that I really admire about Soviet Union is this idea of a human dream that sort of mobilized a lot of people, not only within the country, but around it. The idea that we can really transform our society, can live into a different future that will be more fair, more inclusive. Soviet Union was a big mover of decolonization efforts in 1950s and 60s. And that part of the history, I think, is really admirable, that there was this idea of a human dream driving us forward. And of course, that was not the only dream. There were many other dreams present back then, throughout 20th century and before. And of course, the dream also turned to its dark side. We know of repressions, we know of wars, we know of the violence that was there for decades. So the dream has its dark side. But what I find interesting is this possibility of empowering and inspiring large movements and communities around the world that can drive us to a more harmonious future. And I think we also need to learn from the history, such as the one of Soviet Union, that there are good parts to that dream and there are bad parts. And the fact that Soviet Union collapsed before the end of 20th century is actually testifying that maybe that dream was not really harmonious enough. And actually did not work for so many people. And it feels that we are now living in the situation when a lot of human dreams that were driving us collectively are no longer valid. We look into the future, and the future looks threatening. People talk about climate crisis, biodiversity collapse, the likely extinction of human species in the next century. So all of the really threatening images of the future, our relationship with technology becomes increasingly threatening for us. It feels that future is filled with images projected on visions that are projecting fear upon us rather than inspiration. And we also know that past dreams, which worked for 20th century, like the space era, they really are left only to chosen few. Like there are really a very limited group of people that can afford to go to other planets. So it seems in some regard that the humanity is losing its dream, or the dreams are kind of collapsing, and at the same time it's also evident to mobilize our collective effort to collaborate, to co-create, to explore. We need to begin discovering new dreams. And these dreams perhaps should not only be ours, they should be dreams that are also recognize that we are not the only species on this planet. There are many other species. We are part of the beautiful and very complex superorganism of the planet Earth. And how do we co-create this future dream with others, with other species, with other planetary systems, is probably part of the journey that we will have to take through the 21st century and beyond if we want to find that hopeful future. So this is the role of this forum, to actually open up this conversation, to connect with communities that are exploring this, to see ourselves as a large human tribe awakening around the planet and seeing each other as parts of that tribe, connecting not only mind to mind, but also heart to heart, in the hope that this new human dream will awaken in us. Alexander, Laszlo is my longtime friend for many years. He's a research director of the Laszlo Institute and the co-founder of Global Education Futures, and my source of inspiration in many regards. Alexander, over to you. What's your aspiration for this forum? Alexander? Well, I think something has happened with Alexander just at the moment when we were hoping to hear his dream. But while Alexander is reconnecting, I would like to introduce the third co-holder of this opening process of the forum, Marion Neumann, a cinematographer from Switzerland. I met Marion very recently, just basically a week ago, and I was so inspired by the quality of your work, Marion, in many regards, so the different processes you are organizing. And we spoke that you carry this energy or quality of space opener. And I immediately feel like I would like Marion to help us co-design this opening space. So Alexander is back with us. Let us hear a few words from Alexander. I hope the technology would work this time. And then, Marion, I will pass over to you. Alexander.
Yes, lovely. Thank you so much. Sorry about that bleeping in and bleeping out, but I'm here for good. I'm speaking to you from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I have my mate. I hope you have your comfort drink and your comfort food and are comfortable, because what we are doing in this time, thank you, Katerina and Alexander. Yes, cheers. Cheers. Because what we are doing here together is really exploring the human potential. So I'm just going to say just a few words about what this means for me. I'm here representing the Laszlo Institute of New Paradigm Research as the director of research there, and working closely with Pavel and the team to explore what it is that we can do together, how we can human well together. And we'll be exploring this throughout these 3 days. But truly, we're entering this from the domain of possibility, not coming to it from fear, not coming to it from, oh my gosh, well, how can we avoid the apocalypse? Sure, that's all in the background. But we're looking at the true expression of our collective human potential. So, a couple of things to note. By connecting with our innermost hopes and dreams, all of us sharing this, hopefully we inspire each other. They provide individual inspiration for our collective aspiration. And the collective aspiration is our highest potential that we know we can achieve. When we are in these dream states, we can touch our highest potential. We know that we can do better than we are currently doing on this planet. So how do we do that? Some of the things we're going to be talking about during these 3 days are going to be fairly countercultural. They're going to be disruptive innovations, but that's good because disruption is about the behaviors we have, the status quos we have, the things that keep us stuck in a groove, in a rut. But we need to transform our ruts into grooves and to be able to move along in ways that are non-deterministic, non-fatalistic, and of course, not nihilistic. These are the dreams. And so I'll pass it back now to you, Pavel, but I wanted just to let you know that I am wearing the right shirt for today's activity. Yes, we are going to be in flow, 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 flow throughout our time today. So enjoy our time and flow with it throughout these next 3 days. Back to you, Pavel.
Thank you, Alexander. And I already introduced Marion. I began introducing you, and I would, without any further ado, pass to you. Maybe you can share a little bit about your work and then take us into the space of opening this forum. Marion.
Thank you very much that spontaneously you invited me to this wonderful group of change makers and inspired people. Thank you very much. So I'm sitting here in Switzerland. I'm an artist from Germany, and the last 10 years I was working with fungi, and I did a film that is called The Mushroom Speaks, inspired by Terence McKenna and many, many other people. And to open this unique gathering, I will share some of my personal experience and some ancient sources of knowledge, this wisdom of fungi. So their primary lesson, what they really teach is that all life is interconnected and that we are part of this web of life. And so silent and unseen, we all work together to heal and to support and evolve life on Earth. So contemplating this fungal consciousness as a spiritual being and mother, I consider myself being part of this deep ecology movement where every sentient being is alive and has its intelligence. So how to connect to this intelligence? So I feel the joyful duty to celebrate a healing relationship with the natural world. So thank you for inviting me to this. And before sending out all of our bright and meaningful ideas, I would like to invite you to a collective dream into the Earth system and to receive an offering, a meditation on connection, so that we can tune into this unifying field that we share during this evolutionary Renaissance assembly. So maybe now is the moment to bring the flute. And I invite all of you to find a comfortable position. You can also stand up and you take a deep breath in and out. You can also close your eyes as we tune into this moment of the here and now. So imagine you are in a beautiful place in nature. Autumn arrives, you are standing on a green meadow. Just breathe it in and out, this meadow. Your feet are on the green grass. It is soft, you can feel it. The sun is shining. It shines onto your skin and warms you. Feel its presence. In front of you, you see a small hill. You can go to it. At the top of that hill, you see a beautiful and old tree. It seems to be calling you. Its leaves are moving in the light wind. They beckon to you. They call you. You walk slowly to the tree. Arrived at it, you spread your arms and embrace it. Imagine this embrace. Feel into your embrace. Feel into that tree. The tree and you. You and the tree, you merge together. With each breath, you become that tree from the roots where you stand into the sky with your leaves. Inhale, you're being a tree. Breathe it in and out into the earth under your feet and just observe, no judgment, no evaluation. All that me can now just drift away. Maybe now you can ask, what is you that is also me? And what is me that is also you? Can you feel it? This love, that unifying feel that touches you gently, warmly. It might flow through your body. Maybe it fills you up completely. Feel the tree in you. Feel being part of this Mother Earth's love. The love of a tree in you and your love into a tree. A mother's love is your own love. The love for yourself. Feel your own love. Enjoy this beauty of being in the here and now, as a tree, as you, as the web of life, whatever vision comes to your mind. And with your vision, you maybe find back the way to the meadow where the journey began. You are back in the green meadow. The sun is shining. It touches your skin, full of the love of a tree, full of your love. Feel the grass and the earth under your feet. Feel the love you share with that grass, your body, your tree. You feel it completely. And with each breath, you take in this infinite power of nature. With each breath, this power flows into your body. You are sitting here, feeling that space around you. Feel it from your hands until your feet. You might want to move your hands and feet, your branches and roots slightly. And still take deep breaths. And when you feel you are ready, as being a tree, a human tree, you welcome yourself or whatever you are into this here and now, sensing this unifying field. Welcome into this stream of the earth. And if you feel like maybe you want to put some of your intention now into this field before starting to work, and send some words into the forum so that we can collect some informations of your ideas for our living on this beautiful planet. The time is here, the place is now. Thank you.
Thank you, Marion. Beautiful, inspiring. And actually bringing two memories for me. So one of them is the indigenous perspective of I heard it attributed to a number of indigenous tribes across the world, from Africa, from South America, and even from Southeast Asia, the idea that trees are actually superior to humans in many regards. It's sort of consciousness that they embody. And of course, the Western perspective contests that and doesn't see it this way. But one of our hopes in the space today and in the next 2 days is to actually connect to multiple perspectives, not just, let's say, one perspective. And I shall tell something about it too. It is when I was organizing the forum, it was discovered to be a little bit hard to actually bring in those other voices and create that space. It is a challenge. So if we want to look into who is actually speaking about the evolution of humanity, this challenge, we've discovered that it's actually people mostly from the West. They probably will be more senior in their age and probably will be males. And in fact, the evolution is happening with all of us. It's not dominated by wild old males, so to say. So that's part of our collective journey to discover how do we include everybody. And the other thought that I forgot, so I won't say that. I want to thank you, Marion, and actually would like to recognize that this idea of the dream of the earth that you channel here so beautifully was something that comes from conversation of a number of people, and one of the most known one is the book by Thomas Berry, who actually wrote the Dream of the Earth book. But for most of us, when we hear it, it's our dream of the earth. What is that beautiful dream of us creating the earth however we want it, whether we call it a garden, our playground, whatever else. We continue to think that the earth is ours to organize, to guide. There is even the metaphor of spaceship Earth, which recognizes our interconnectedness with the planet, is still pretty much human-centric. It says we are the crew, and the rest is like a giant mechanism that we are steering. But if we recognize that this is not a mechanism, this is an organism, and we are one of the organs or some of the cells of this super body that might also be a super intelligent being. There is a research by a cosmologist Adam Frank and his colleagues that actually discusses the idea that planets might be super intelligent beings if we look at them from perspective of amount of information they're processing, the complexity of their self-regulation processes. If we recognize that the Earth could be that super intelligent being and we are part of that organism, what if we are the ones being dreamt? What if we are actually one of many species being dreamt? And there are other species being dreamed. And there is the dream of the earth for us. And are we living into that dream? And what is that dream that could happen? So that is actually the invitation for us to keep this as an idea that can unfold throughout this forum, throughout the 3 days. And yeah, Alexander, please.
And just to add to this, working with this vision, this beautiful grounding and connecting vision, it's not just grounding, it also connects to the perennial patterns of the cosmos, because the tree reaches up into the sky and reaches down into the ground. It combines both the mycelial aspects of the mushrooms in rhizomes, because the roots of the tree are rhizomic, and they connect like this in multiple patterns, just like the beautiful pattern behind Marion in the screen. But also the trees have branches, so there is order and hierarchy as well in certain aspects of it. It's not a hierarchy of domination and control. It's a hierarchy of communication and connection, so that the flows are optimized. How can we be this humanity? I like the idea of this human tree, humanity. So again, just to think about this dreaming into our super potential that Pavel has been talking about, and doing so in a ways that call to mind Thomas Barry, that call to mind also Martin Luther King's. He didn't say, I have a plan. That wasn't the rallying call. He said, I have a dream. This is the power to dream together. And this is what we're going to be exploring here. But indeed, truly, the dreaming comes from the Aboriginal frames, the dream time. And this we will also be exploring here, not just the more contemporary Western approaches, but altogether the power of how we can be this rhizomic, multinodal, collective intelligence in our highest potential in the next stage, perhaps, of human evolution.
Thank you, Alexander. I actually recalled what I wanted to say is that the other fact that we should not forget is that actually we as a species originated from apes that were interconnected with trees. And actually our existence comes from this interconnection as mammals that were connected with trees. So we probably, I believe that, carry that memory in our genes very deep. And that's something to be perhaps remembered. And thank you, Alexander, for bringing up this idea of dream time, because it's exactly the moment when I feel we should transit to our first panel. And thank you again, Marion, for creating this space for us and opening it up